I'm here today to talk about AI everywhere, all at once, and this is the future of connected travel. This is going to be fun. We're going to go on a bit of a journey. Hopefully you're ready to go on a journey with me, get you in the right mindset for maybe heading home if you have a long journey home. My name is John Duffield from Signal 2, and some people call me a futurist. I like to think of myself as an innovation strategist. I work with a lot of very large and very small hospitality brands, everything from Hilton Hotels, executive team, all the way down to small hospitality management groups. And my space I sit in is the intersection of hospitality and travel and healthcare, which is a very magical intersection I'm very excited by. And I like to really help challenge leaders to reimagine what their product or service or offering is in the not too distant future. Okay? This is one of my avatars. The reason I wanted to show this is that I was supposed to be on this very same stage last year, and I had a major health scare. I had to have 2 open heart surgeries less than 3 weeks apart. So for me, being here today is a very, very special, proud moment to be here. And I want to thank Brooke and the RX team for bringing me back 2 years running. So thank you, Brooke and team. Okay, in this next hour, or this next 55 minutes together, what we're going to do is talk about the limits or boundaries of travel as we see it today. We're also going to talk about some informed ideas on what the future of travel could look like. And most importantly, this is for hopefully all of you to think about how to prepare your business for the future of travel. What would you need to do to be ready? Because it's coming, and it's coming quickly. Okay? Now, please do stick around till the end because I've got a few gifts for you at the end of the session. All of the slides, all of the ideas and the frameworks and this concept of living intelligence we're talking about will be available to you to download, so you can take a lot of this information with you. And the next best thing, I've trained an AI agent on all of the frameworks, ideas, insights, research that led me to the content in this presentation. And I've created an AI agent in ChatGPT so any one of you can have a conversation with this content and help prepare your own business and create a custom plan for how your own business can prepare for the future of travel. So they're my gifts to you if you stick around till the end. Okay, so some statistics that I wanted to talk about very quickly in the beginning. After hearing some of the previous sessions on population groups and ideas about loyalty and future customer engagement, things like that, I did some very quick research last minute to put this together because I think this is important for us to consider. Global population groups, the millennial audience, born from 81 to 96, I'm just on the edge of that, make up right now in 2025, 21% of the global population, okay? Gen Z, born between 97 and 2009, make up 23% of the global population. The next one, Gen Alpha, the ones that were born between 2010 and last year, that's 24%. These are staggering numbers, okay? Collectively, that is 68% of global population, okay? Born as early as 1981 and as recent as 2024, okay? There was a major technology launch in between the time of all of these 3 age groups. Does anyone know what that major technology launch was? Around 2007? Anybody? I'll make it easy. This device here, the first iPhone, 2007, okay? All of these people grew up using it on a daily basis and are addicted to it. 68% of the population. We need to think about that when we're imagining where our travel business is going and what types of ways we can reach, engage, surprise and delight, and create loyalty moments, okay? Because that is a huge, staggering number. All right, let's think for a moment. This is me on the flight over. This is me sitting in my airplane seat. And I'm thinking about the booking experience that took me to this point. I'm thinking about all of the work I had to do to go online to, in my case, Emirates website, find the correct route, find the ideal time, put in my loyalty points, put in my passenger details, my credit card information, all of that as a separate transaction. The next thing I had to think about was my hotel booking. Which hotel do I want to choose? How close will it be to the Trade Convention Center here? How accessible is my journey? I have to put in all the hard work to think about these disconnected points on the travel-going journey right now. Even though there are some kind of interesting elements to that journey, you know, the plane cabin, the lights come on to remind you we're in a new time zone. In fact, this is a video I created using AI. This wasn't real, although it looks real. The other interesting touch point, on the Emirates app, you can select your seat and you can get a virtual experience to look at the view, to look at the positioning of where your seat is in relation to the exit row, the aisle, the bathrooms, and that's kind of interesting. That's new and cool, gives you some good perspective. You know, there's other kind of things going on. As a Hilton loyalist myself, it's nice that every time you go into a Hilton property, your name's on the TV screen, a couple of memory things to let you know that, John, you're here, we know you're here, and that's nice, okay? These are all interesting points and a good start. Now, when we think about all of those points, I want you now to imagine in 5 years from now what that booking experience and travel-going experience might look like. Because I've done some research, I've found some signals, I've made some foresight-driven predictions, and I want to walk you through some of this. Okay, so you've all just woken up at 6 a.m. on Monday, June 7, the year 2030. You know, that's 2030. Wow. But that's 5 years away. It's not too long, okay? So you're waking up early morning. You're about to go on your trip that you've planned. There's a few things here that are happening that are quite special. Without you doing anything, your AI has preemptively canceled a meeting for you. You know why? Because it detected client sentiment from the people you were about to meet with and proactively rescheduled that meeting for a better time. Because it knows you. It knows your clients. It is connected. It is plugged in. This AI that works behind the scenes is your new friend that is powering your new journey. You know what else you found out when you woke up in the morning that you didn't have to do? Your AI has already curated your in-flight content. It's selected the type of media that's going to show up on your screen to reduce your stress based on your upcoming agenda because it knows it's connected. Okay? You know what else is going to be pretty amazing? On your travel journey, whether it's at the airport lounge or whether it is on the plane or in your connected or side-by-side hotel room, it's matched you with a potential sales opportunity, with a potential network opportunity because of shared interests that you have opted in to deliver and what your matchmaker on the other side has opted in to deliver. Can you imagine all these points are lining up for you and what that does for your perception of the travel journey? Let's look at another one. It's pre-ordered the right meals for you. I did not get vegetarian meals on my flight because I forgot to go in and opt in. It knows my meals, it knows my healthcare needs, and it's thinking about my jet lag, and it's recommending the right meals or pre-selecting the right meals for me. Okay, here's another one. I'm an environmentalist. I care about the environment and the carbon footprint that I'm contributing to. It's rerouting It's automatically finding the right routes for me that help limit my carbon footprint and offset my travel journey and its impact. It's doing a lot of these things. Hold on for the ride here, there's a few more. It's also blocking some known sources of stress for me. I might have my smart glasses on, glasses, I thought I had them on for a moment, I'm wearing contact lenses today. Glasses, we're seeing big clunky virtual reality headsets, and those are great. But smart glasses right now will be able to do almost as much as those headsets soon. And it will overload and filter messages to protect my mental well-being. My AI knows me better than I do myself. Okay? It's also integrated a micro-learning module for me in my seatback system or in my smart glasses. It knows I'm heading to Dubai. It knows I'm interested in understanding cultural nuances and cuisine locally. It's prepping me. It's loading some bite-sized pieces of content for me into my field of view. This is not a what-if concept for the next 30 years. This is going to be happening very soon. All of these potential touch points that you just saw were very helpful to me, but weren't programmed by me proactively. They were done because systems are learning and thinking and understanding everything that I'm putting out there. Let's think about the next phase for a quick moment. Then I'm going to zoom out again. What if the airport or my hotel or the city in general adapted to me in real time? Imagine this. Imagine there's no security line. Imagine the line literally opens up or was never there in the first place because AI is staggering arrivals based on live flow. It's monitoring. It's not just counting. It's not just a kiosk you go up to and slide your passport in and open. That's cool. But you know what's cooler? When there isn't one, because it knows you're coming. John, entry's ready for you. My hotel will know that I've just flown 13 hours from New York City. Anyone else come from the East Coast? Okay, one man over there. It's a long flight, right? Imagine when you walk into your hotel lobby, the lighting, the mood, the ambiance is adjusted because my entry is anticipated. It knows I'm coming. That sets a mood for me. That sets a vibe. I don't want to be hit with the exact opposite vibe of morning if I'm coming in night, or nighttime if I'm coming in morning. I want to be balanced, okay? Music too. Gosh, this is going to be a rich world. As I'm entering, I'm in my taxi. I'm going past digital billboards. It knows me. It knows why I'm here. And it's welcoming me to ATM25. John, don't miss it. Okay? These are all the signals. And part of this might sound a little kind of creepy, a little intrusive, a little big brother. But you know what? The ability to opt in, to share your data for a rewarding, meaningful, personalized experience like this is something that I'd definitely be willing to do. I see the value in that. To me, that would be pretty special. And I've been at the hotel for a few days, and it knows I'm needing to go and meet a client that, is quite a ways away. And you know what it's doing? It's rerouting my journey appropriately, taking me on the scenic route, because it knows I have to scramble to do some prep on the way, or it knows that I'm pretty stressed because I had no windows in my calendar the day before. Okay? This is the kind of thing we can and we will expect in our future journey. This sounds like a lot more smoother travel experience in my mind compared to what we're dealing with still today in these disconnected moments all over the place. That would be really cool. By the way, if you hadn't realized, those are obviously all AI generated. I like to disclose in the beginning of my presentation, I had a footnote that I do use AI to bring a lot of these to life. So hopefully you're seeing a pattern here that your next journey or the next journey in the not too distant future is not just going to move you, it will learn from you. It will learn from your behaviors. It will know your preferences. It will understand your schedule, the reason for your trip, who you're planning to meet, okay? It will learn as much as you're willing to tell it because you've trained your agent to predict what's going on. This, everybody, is the concept of living intelligence. Okay, this is the era we're moving into because artificial intelligence right now exists kind of by itself. It's serving up recommendations for our Netflix preferences. It's recommending additional items in Amazon because it knows our purchase history. And it's also creating cool content for us in ChatGPT. But when these systems connect to all the sensors that are around the world, in airplanes, in hotels, in hospitals, in your own bedroom, these sensors that have been collecting data and triggering lights, on entry, things like that, they just got smarter. And the biotechnology component, we're going to talk about that, is really, really interesting. So I want you to try and remember the concept of living intelligence. It's where it transforms environments and services into these experiences that anticipate and grow and adapt with every travel experience. This is the concept of living intelligence, okay? Now, the next journeys that we're about to see won't just kind of respond. They'll really curate, they'll guide, and they'll transform. Let's think about a museum experience for a moment, okay? An adaptive museum, you go to the museum, you've got your device, and it can sense your emotion, and it can create a personalized experience just for you that's purposely curated based on how you like to digest information and content, okay? It's no longer a one-size-fits-all experience. Wellness, environments that adjust the air temperature, the lighting, your hydration, your recovery, based on what it knows about you. Wellness is just about to get really, really smart. And emotionally aware itineraries. We've talked a little bit about that. Itineraries that reroute, that configure themselves, that evolve based on what it knows you need to do. It's removing the heavy thinking from you so you can focus on your end goal, not on the friction points along the journey. This is what journeys in the future will look like. So how did we get here? How did we get to this point? We talked about the iPhone in 2007. This has been quite an evolution. When the connected web first exploded, it was all about access to information. And that's great. The world's information is no longer in encyclopedias on bookshelves or in CD-ROMs. Encarta 95 was one of my favorites. I don't know if anyone remembers that. In 2010, a smart device came out, or just a few years before that, you saw the iPhone. Now, there's some automated tasks coming in, there's emails coming in, there's calendars, things like that. It's all very static, very rule-based. And then in the 20s, ambient AI came into the picture. Okay, so AI is now kind of listening a little bit. There are sensors in here. It's always on, okay, but it's very one way. You can't drive any of its actions. It's only based on what it sees and hears. The concept of living intelligence that we're talking about now, these environments, they can sense, they can learn, they can evolve, okay? And this can create some really dynamic, personalized journeys, like some of the previews I just showed a little bit ago. And then where we're moving towards, which we're not even going to touch today, hopefully I can come back next year, symbiotic intelligence, all right? These are travel journeys that move you. They co-create with you. They shape who you become. That is really, truly next level stuff. But that's kind of how we got to where we're going. But it's already emerging. There are some signals from this kind of disconnected travel journey that we're on that really show us a preview of what's to come. For my US friends, Delta is really stepping up the game. At the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas in January, they announced a lot of big breakthroughs in their Future of Travel 100-year celebration at the Sphere in Vegas. I was in the audience. It was very special. They talked about their concierge sync that's coming in, and early versions are in now. It's really going to help personalize your journey and think ahead of time for you. There's a lot of this coming in. Hilton has had the connected room technology in for some while. You saw my photos in the beginning. It knows me when I come into hotels in different places. Sometimes it knows, my favorite channels. Sometimes it knows my temperature, and it sets it for me. That's cool. It doesn't know anything else yet, but it's doing some of that. I don't need to tell people how smart this city is that we're all in right now, and the infrastructure and the investments and the underpinning technologies that are driving this city. That's a no-brainer, okay? Generative AI and the customer experience. Whether you are, it used to start with booking an airline or trying to find the right pair of shoes and size online, very much a one-way conversation, a pre-approved decision tree. Now it's fully interactive. Now it's fully live. You can talk to agents. You can understand stock levels and live inventories. And you can understand routes and you can get travel. Biometric-driven wellness. Hotels are integrating a lot of this into their wellness offerings. So if you're willing to opt in to your data, then you can have services that are relevant to your mood, your temperature, your heart rate. And dynamic flight pricing and routing. All of this are signals in separate places of where we're moving towards as a set of new futures. So how can you all, in your businesses, and many of the businesses that you see here in the two halls, prepare for this concept of living intelligence? How do you get ready? What does it all mean? Well, I have a 4-step framework that starts with sensing the signals, okay? Really thinking about and listening and having tech set up that listens in the right way. Building intelligent layers, okay, so you can deliver and respond to those signals. Orchestrate seamless experiences. We'll talk about that. That's step 3. And the last one here is moving from sustainable, which is fantastic, into regenerative, which is the next level. So this is my 4-step framework. We'll unpack this. I'll give you a couple of sub-bullets as well. And all of these frameworks and points you'll get at the end if you'd like. But I want you to think about, imagine you are a hotel owner, boutique hotel owner, an operator of a large brand, either one of those. Really ask yourself, will your business stay static, stay rigid, while the guest experience is truly evolving to expect intelligence? Okay? Guests are, 70% of the global population is addicted to their iPhone. Maybe not addicted, but uses a smartphone, okay? So they're expecting intelligence because they're getting it everywhere else. Why should their hospitality experience be any different, okay? So ask yourself, do you want to stay in a static, old school, current world? Or do you want to be moving into an adaptive, evolving role? Are you going to continue to be reactive based on when your customers report a problem or when you find a problem? Or will you be predictive because your systems are lined up, they're dialed in, and they're ready to offer the right experiences? So real quick, I'll unpack a couple of points on sensing the signals. Because when you think about it, and you as guests as well, you are constantly telling the property you're at or the airline you're on what you need without even saying a word. Okay? Question is, nobody's listening. So how do we create and discover these unmet needs before they present themselves? How can we be ahead of the game? Okay? What we really need to do is to turn a lot of this invisible data into really, truly unforgettable moments. That's where we need to head to. And this last one here under Sense the Signals is move to elevate the brand, elevate the experience, elevate the company from reactive to intuitive. This is a roadmap for sensing the signals. The second one, building intelligent systems, step 2 in the 2-step framework, is turning a lot of these ordinary touch points, disconnected touch points we talked about a little bit before, into extraordinary moments without throwing everything up and starting all over. It's based on using what you have and evolving it. Okay, so layering in AI and a lot of these adaptive systems over the top of existing touch points. We're not looking to truly reinvent the wheel. We're just looking to overlay on top of what we already have and focusing on those low friction, high impact areas, those moments that really make the most difference. Okay? And then ultimately really thinking about how can I bring in a layer of invisible intelligence? Because as we heard on some of the earlier panels, the tech should work in the background. The tech should not be leading the experience. The tech should be delivering and enabling the right experience, okay? So we want guests to be wowed, and this is the framework to get there. So orchestrating seamless experiences. Why? Because they're not built by just adding more tech. They're built when intelligence truly does work behind the scenes, as I just mentioned. So the goal is to connect the underlying AI across all of the touch points on the travel-going experience that you offer your guests, and to create continuity, not just personalization. It's not just, "Hi, John, welcome," the Hilton message you saw on the TV screens when I walk in. It's much more than that. It's continuing on based on what I'm doing throughout my stay and what else I expect. It doesn't just stop with the TV screen welcome. And this concept of digital twins, this concept of simulations, what that really means is don't just wait to try the moments, plan them out. There's technology now where you can predict what service you can offer, experiment with an offering based on using digital twins to really simulate what could happen before trying it. The tools available today to prototype are truly incredible. And this last step here, moving from sustainable to regenerative. Okay, what does that look like and why? Because it's all about how we can be restorative with our experiences, to be truly, deeply human, okay, beyond just sustainable for the environment. It's what's the next element, okay? So sustainability reduces that footprint, but unmistakable value can be created if we're actually looking at regeneration. And what does that mean? I'll show you an example in a moment. Using AI to track and amplify positive impact, where you know you're having an impact. How can we track that? And how can we do more of that thing, whatever that thing is? And, you know, guests just don't want a comfortable room that they're familiar with anymore. That's kind of old news. They want meaning. They want to be connected to something valuable, okay? So that's the 4-step framework. Now, I want you to picture you are a luxury hotel brand. I'm going to go through a 90-day, 3-month sprint on how we can implement or experiment with some of these options, okay? And this will all be provided in detail in the download afterwards. But I wanted to give you a sense of what this could look like, all right? So days 1 to 30, the first month in your luxury hotel brand, putting this into practice. From the first step in sensing, we're going to move beyond passive data collection into dynamic sensing. We're going to deploy an AI mood map, okay? We're going to map out all of the touch points in the travel-going experience as a luxury hotel brand, from before the stay, during the stay, and afterwards, and anticipating the next one. And we're going to line all those up and find out how can we deconstruct that process and reimagine it using AI. Break down the traditional way of doing things just because industry dictates that's the hotel-going experience. We're going to reimagine it with AI. And we're going to tap guests. We're going to send them an email. We're going to have a sign at the front desk. We're going to ask them, do they want to opt in to a silent feedback initiative? Because we're looking at how to reimagine travel. When you are open of your intentions, you'll be surprised at the amount of folks that want to go along this journey with you, okay? The next one, build. We're not just adding tech, remember. It's not about just adding tech. It's how can we think about making sure there's intelligence working behind the scenes on the tech that we already have. We're going to create a little mini journey. We're going to call it an adaptive room scene trigger. Okay, so think about that time when my friend and I flew in from New York. We are massively jet lagged, okay? We're hungry, we're thirsty, but we're tired as well. When we get into the hotel room or walk into the lobby, we want to know that it knows me and it knows how far I've come. I want a couple of signals. I want to put that journey in place and see how guests respond to that. From a wellness standpoint, again, it knows my circadian rhythm because I've opted in to have my Apple Watch, my heart rate, and my temperature be connected to my guest profile. So that's triggering some wellness initiatives. It's triggering a coupon for a spa day. It's triggering a coupon for a massage because it knows me. That is thinking. All right? Step 3, orchestrate these systems together. Create cross-harmony that your competitors are not doing. And think where this could go. All right? So how about we run a zero-click flow test? So from the moment your guest books their stay, to the moment they arrive, to the moment they bypass check-in, get into their room with their mobile key, the moment they walk in and they see the lights, they hear their favorite music, the temperature is just perfect. Think about what that zero-click arrival would look like. Run a pilot and measure it. And also, ask your guests if you want their data shared with some of the local restaurants in town in terms of your name, your email, and your arrival time. Because you know what that could unlock? Some suggestions on zero-click instant ways to book a table. Easy ways to suggest some cuisine that's local that matches your time schedule. Again, it comes to you. If we opt in and unlock some of that with opt-in, wow, that could be magic. The last step, move from sustainable to regenerative. Position us as a force multiplier. What you can consider doing is creating a dashboard, okay, that shows the regeneration tracking, your guests' impact. Okay, a dashboard the guests have access to say how much water have they saved during their stay? How much electricity have they saved during their stay? What is the anticipated energy consumption of their stay based on thermostat use and miles traveled and things like that? Give them a sense of their impact and also unlock the ability for purpose-driven experiences. Because of the carbon footprint or the energy you are likely to consume during your stay, Mr. Duffield, we've got a recommended activity for you where you can go and be part of a tree planting initiative. You can be part of a sustainable earth seminar initiative that's going on in the local town city. You know, you can not just measure the offset, but you can contribute back guests. You can adjust your future travel to not have so much impact. Okay, so this is really purposeful, all right? Because why are we looking to do this? The future of connected travel and how you can respond isn't necessarily about guests wanting to just choose features. They're not just going to choose a hotel because it has, mobile room key or because it has something else. They want fluid, living, breathing experiences. It doesn't matter if that doesn't connect to their IHG loyalty points. It's because they want a living, mind-blowing experience that's relevant to them. And all of this isn't just about technology for technology's sake. This is leadership in ushering in a new era of travel, a new era of guest experience. Because when we know that 70% of the global population was active detailed everyday smartphone users, and that is the key to personalization. We know that we need to act as leaders to usher in this next era of travel. Okay? This here is a QR code that you can scan if you're interested. This is your starter kit. This is going to be an interactive experience for you and your business to not only get the checklists and the inspiration and the ideas and my framework that I've unlocked, but this will also give you access to, for those that use ChatGPT, a living intelligence coach. It's a conversational agent that I've trained ahead of time on all of this research. It will ask you questions on your business. It will ask you questions on your customer and your biggest problems and your biggest successes. And it will help mold and shape this 4-step framework to give you ideas on how you can prepare your business for the future of travel. That's my gift for you. You know, in closing, I wanted to talk about the impact of AI in a what if. I found on Skift, it's a travel publication in the US, that the average revenue earned by every travel worker in the United States is about $260,000 per year. Okay? The average revenue earned per travel worker in the US. Take Hilton Hotels, for example. They employ about 450,000 employees globally. That's a lot. If AI can make every Hilton worker just 3% better at their jobs, just 3%. What is 3% of a day in minutes? Can't even do the math. That could result in $3.6 billion in incremental revenue alone, just by onboarding, enabling, and doing smart things with AI. Creating next-generation guest experiences, greater productivity for employees, and higher employee satisfaction, and also shorter training learning curves. This is a whole separate talk. But I wanted to leave you with that. And my closing thought is here. This was a photo that was traveling around last year on social media, and I just thought it was fascinating, and I love closing with this. Hey, ChatGPT, finish this building. It can't, okay? Your skills, your domain expertise, and your emotionally driven creativity cannot be replaced. Your ambition to lead in the next era of travel, combined with smart uses of these technologies, is the winning combination. All right, so don't ever forget that. I want to thank you all for your time here today. I know it was the closing session. I regularly post and talk about the intersection of health and hospitality and the impact of technology on that. Feel free to connect with me. Here's that code again if you want to download the framework of what living intelligence is and how your company can prepare for what's to come, and also get access to the conversational agent that, like I said, will help you build your own roadmap on what the future of travel looks for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.